Welcome to Dr. Pam Unleashed, where we skip the gimmicks and get real about what helps pets actually thrive. I'm Dr. Pam, functional medicine vet, symptom decoder, and your guide to a vibrant, no BS pet care. Let's get into it. Welcome to Gut Check, a new series from Dr. Pam Unleashed. I'm Dr. Pam, and over the next 3 episodes, we're going to explore your dog's gut, the single most important factor in your dog's health, something that controls everything from immunity to behavior to how long your dog actually lives. Before we jump in, let me tell you how I approach every single patient that walks through my door. I start with whole food nutrition every time. Why? Because it levels the playing field. It helps me see what's really there and what's just noise. When you stop playing whack-a-mole with symptoms, when you quiet all the chaos, the body gets strong enough to show you exactly what it needs. It prioritizes. It makes me look really smart, but honestly, it's not me at all. The body does all the heavy lifting once you get out of its way. Here's something we say in functional medicine. You have to work the north to get to the south. What does that mean? If you don't fix the upper part of the digestive tract, the stomach, the biochemistry, the whole upper digestive process, then the microbiome in the lower gut is going to struggle. Everything's connected, and you can't skip steps. Here's the thing I want you to understand right from the start. The microbiome is the center of the universe, period, full stop. If you don't have a healthy gut, you will not have a healthy body. It's that simple and that profound. Today, we're talking about 5 things that are controlling your dog's health right now. 5 invisible controllers that most people don't even know exist. Let's get started. The immune system guard. Let's start with the big one, your dog's immune system. Did you know that 80% of your dog's immune system lives in the gut? 80%. Not in the bone marrow, not floating around in the bloodstream, in the gut. The bacteria living in your dog's intestine are actually training immune cells, teaching them what's dangerous and what's safe, what to attack and what to leave alone. This is why gut health is so critical when we're dealing with chronic issues, recurring infections, or allergies. And it's also why I talk about the importance of vitamin D. We covered this in our last series because vitamin D plays a crucial role in immune regulation. And guess where a lot of that immune regulation happens? You got it, the gut. Now here's something that might surprise you. There's a huge misconception out there about probiotics and gut health. Most people now think if they give their dog a probiotic, they're rebuilding the microbiome. It's become a default recommendation, like throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping some of it sticks. But that's not actually how traditional probiotics work. They don't reseed or regrow your dog's gut flora. Let me say that again. They don't reseed or regrow your dog's gut flora. They're more like temporary visitors that live their life and then die. Each dog's microbiome is like a fingerprint, completely unique to them. And when you try to force a one-size-fits-all probiotic on that unique ecosystem, you might actually be doing more harm than good. In my practice, we use something different, spore-forming probiotics. These are special because they're inactive until your dog's gut environment is ready for them. Then they activate and get to work repairing the lining of the intestine, healing the leaky gut. They don't try to take over and repopulate the gut with strains that may not be there. They just create the right environment for your dog's own unique bacteria to thrive. I know this challenges what a lot of people believe about probiotics, and there's so much more to this story. Groundbreaking research from 2018 that completely changed how we understand gut recovery. I'll be jumping deep into this in some exclusive content for our practice community because this changes everything you thought you knew about probiotics. And honestly, it's worth a whole class. But for now, just know this. Protecting your dog's immune system means protecting the gut. And that starts with whole food nutrition and the right kind of gut flora support. The mood manager. The second thing the microbiome controls is your dog's mood and behavior. Let me introduce you to a concept, the psychobiome. This is a connection between the gut bacteria and mental health, and it's way more powerful than most people realize. Here's a mind-blowing fact. 85% of all serotonin production happens in the gut, not the brain, the gut. Serotonin is that feel-good transmitter, a chemical messenger that affects mood, anxiety, and overall sense of well-being. So if your dog doesn't have a healthy gut, they can't produce adequate amount of these important brain chemicals. And when those chemicals are low, you're going to see anxiety, behavioral issues, reactivity, all of the things people think are just training problems, but they're not. It's not just serotonin either. The gut bacteria themselves produce these chemical messengers and other signaling molecules that communicate directly with the brain. This is called the gut-brain axis, and it's a two-way highway of communication. When the gut environment is skewed, when the pH is off, when unfriendly bacteria are overgrowing, when friendly bacteria are depleted, this is when you're going to see it show up in behavior, because these aren't just behavioral issues. They're often gut issues in disguise. I had a patient named Pickles. She was a sweet dog, but serious anxiety problems. The owner had tried training, medications, everything. When we normalized Pickles' gut, balanced the microbiome, and started using products that specifically nourished the psychobiome, the transformation was remarkable. The anxiety didn't just improve, it resolved. Pickles became a different dog. That is the power of understanding that mood isn't just in the head, it's in the gut. The skin controller. Number 3, skin health. This one surprises people because they think, what does the gut have to do with my dog's skin? Everything. Absolutely everything. Here's the pathway you need to understand. Gut leads to liver, leads to skin. When you have leaky gut, and in truth, it's not does your dog have leaky gut, but rather to what degree does your dog have leaky gut? Things that should be going out the back end are actually crossing into the blood. The liver tries to filter and detoxify the garbage, but it gets overwhelmed. It can't keep up. So the body reaches out to the secondary detoxification organ, the skin. This is why treating skin without treating the gut is like fighting spot fires. You put one out and 3 more ignite somewhere else. You knock those down, then a dozen more flare up. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and you never make real forward progress because you're not addressing the root cause. I have a patient named Max who came in with chronic skin issues, and I mean severe. He was really badly affected. His skin looked like an elephant hide, thick, hairless, and black. And the smell, we had to open all the windows and air out the clinic after his visits. It was miserable for him and overwhelming for his family around him. We could have thrown steroids at it, topicals, antibiotics, but he'd already been down that road at his regular vet. Nothing worked. So we went after the root cause, the gut. One of the protocols we use in these situations is a detox program we call the whole dog purification. We run this for about a month, and what it does is level the playing field. It normalizes the gut, decreases unfriendly bacteria, purifies and detoxifies the liver and kidneys. And when you get rid of the noise, when you calm down all of the inflammation and chaos, you have a much better opportunity to address the real issue. The first thing we noticed with Max, his odor improved by 80%. No kidding here. That was huge. Then his skin started healing. His coat became more supple and healthy, better color, brighter, vibrant. But more than that, his whole system came into balance because we addressed the foundation. And one bonus feature is that his anxiety diminished and he became more comfortable in his own skin. See how I did that? We got a twofer right there. That's what I mean when I say you always have to work with the gut first. The skin is just showing you what's happening on the inside. The energy regulator. The fourth controller is energy and metabolism. One of the most common things I see in practice is adrenal dysfunction. And here's the interesting thing. It's both a cause and a result of energy and metabolism problems. When the stress on the body overtakes what nutrition can provide, the adrenal glands start struggling. But when you support the gut and provide proper whole food nutrition, you often see thyroid and adrenal function start to normalize. Here's what you need to understand. Health is not linear. It's spherical, not circular, spherical. It has dimension. Everything is connected. You don't just say, oh, there's a missing piece here. Let me fix that one thing and we'll have health. It doesn't work that way. When you start with diet and gut health, it creates a cascade effect. Gut normalization leads to better nutrient extraction, which leads to better adrenal function, which leads to improved thyroid function, which leads to better metabolism, better energy, better everything. It's like a trickle-down effect through the entire system. I have a patient, a big, gorgeous Doberman named Brody. He came to me for chronic skin issues, but his owner mentioned that while he had an enthusiasm of a young Dobie, something just wasn't quite right. He had energy, but it wasn't as vibrant and explosive that you expect from a young, healthy Doberman. We fine-tuned his nutrition. He was already on a whole food diet, but we switched to a different format that worked better for his body. Corrected a few things digestively, rebooted his gastric biochemistry, in other words, reset his digestive system. This nourished his thyroid, and having a mom who was totally on board and committed, that made all the difference. Brody emerged into this absolutely handsome, thriving dog. His skin issues resolved, his thyroid, which had been depleted, came back into normal range, his coat became shiny, no more flakes, and his energy off the charts. Now she's got this high-energy Doberman who acts like he drank espresso for breakfast. She playfully complains about having to keep up with him, but she wouldn't change a thing. That's what happens when you support the microbiome. You just don't fix one thing. You create an environment where the whole body can thrive. The longevity driver. And that brings us to the fifth and most important controller, longevity. If I could get you to understand one concept for this entire episode, it would be this. Aging is deficiency in motion. Think about it. When you have all the right nutrients being extracted from food, when those nutrients are feeding all of the cellular processes in the body, when everything is powered with what it needs to function optimally, you get a longer, healthier life. But when you're depleted, when you don't have the fuel to power those different cellular processes, things go into deficiency mode. They go into compensation mode. And that's what aging really is. It's not just the passage of time. It's the body running on empty, trying to compensate, slowly breaking down because it doesn't have what it needs to maintain itself. The microbiome is at the center of this process. If you can't extract nutrients from food, you can't convert that food into usable fuel. It doesn't matter how good the food is. And if your gut is compromised, you can't extract those nutrients effectively. I had a patient named Twister who had kidney failure, nephrotic syndrome, the really serious kind. The internist told the owner to prepare for a really tough end. But we started making major dietary changes and established kidney support using whole food vitamin supplements with glandulars, nutrients that actually help rescue dysfunctional cells. We focused on feeding the body, feeding the cells, giving them what they needed to function as best they could, even in the face of declining kidney function. Twister lived for about 5 or 6 months longer than anyone expected. The internist couldn't even tell he had kidney failure when she examined him because Twister was living his best life. Eventually, yes, the kidneys burned out. But instead of that slow, agonal decline, Twister went like a bright light that then snuffed out. When it was his time, he passed peacefully and fairly quickly. That's what's possible when you feed the cells, when you support serious challenges. This is the difference between crisis management and proactive health. This is the difference between just extending life and actually improving the quality of life. So there you have it. 5 things the microbiome is controlling right now in your dog: immunity, mood and behavior, skin health, energy and metabolism, and longevity itself. And remember what I said at the beginning. These aren't separate systems. They're all connected. It's spherical. The microbiome is at the center of the universe, and everything radiates out from there. In our next episode, we're going to talk about what happens when things go wrong. How do you know if your dog's microbiome is struggling? What are the warning signs? Because recognizing the problem is the first step to fixing it. Until then, I want you to think about your own dog. In which of these 5 areas are you seeing issues? recurring infections, anxiety or behavior problems, chronic skin issues, low energy, early aging? Because if you're seeing any of these, there's a good chance the root cause is in the gut. Don't forget to download your pocket guide for this episode, Gut Check: What's Sabotaging Your Dog's Microbiome, from our Hero.fm app. It's got actionable information you can use right away. This is Dr. Pam, and I'll see you in the next episode of Gut Check.